IHS, advancing decisions that advance the world.
Gasoline prices in the US have currently reached record highs of about $4 per gallon, and this is very much weighing not only on the US driving season, but also on the US economic recovery, which has been quite slow since the 2008-2009 economic and financial crises. US Republicans and Democrats have taken very different approaches to alleviating the burden on the consumer, and there has been quite a deadlock in Congress by now. The pro-oil and gas industry Republicans have been aggressively pushing for more oil and gas drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, but also in areas that have been a bit out of focus since the fatal Macondo oil spill, such as the Atlantic coast and the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Republicans have passed several bills in the US House of Representatives to that end. However, these bills are very unlikely to also pass the Senate. But Republicans maintain that the current administration's policy towards offshore oil and gas drilling will not only hurt the US economy, but also endanger US energy security, as more and more oil and gas will have to be imported if it's not domestically produced. Democrats, on the other hand, have taken a different approach. They have been seeking the responsibility for high gasoline prices within the industry itself, and to that end they have made several proposals to investigate potential commodity trading manipulation in the US. US Democrats have introduced several bills in Congress as well, in the Senate mostly, to cut tax breaks for oil and gas companies that have initially been introduced in 2002 and 2003 to encourage domestic production, but they argue are no longer needed at crude oil gas of around $100 per barrel. Despite these efforts by US Democrats, President Obama has, however, made concessions to Republican criticism about offshore drilling. He has announced that company leases in the Gulf of Mexico will be extended by 1 year for companies that have been affected by the oil spill last year. And he also announced that further acreage will become available in the Alaska National Petroleum Reserve, with a view to opening up the mid and South Atlantic coast and potentially even parts of the eastern Gulf of Mexico in the midterm. All these developments have led to the said deadlock in Congress between Democrats and Republicans on how to alleviate the burden on the consumer in the short term, given the high gasoline prices. But the Republican strength in wrenching the mentioned concessions from the current administration should not be neglected with a view to presidential elections in 2012. Energy security will be a central issue in 2012 presidential elections, and it could potentially become a sticky point for President Obama, as he and his administration have not been seen handling the oil spill and its aftermath particularly satisfactory in the eyes of many politicians and the industry itself. However, environmental issues have become more important in the US in recent months and years, as unconventional oil and gas drilling is going ahead and concerns arising about a drilling technique called hydraulic fracturing and oil spills from pipelines. But until the ballot day in 2012, it is unlikely that Democrats and Republicans will reach a major consensus on these issues.
IHS, advancing decisions that advance the world.